Hi, here we are again with another list video because we all love lists somehow. But this one's a little bit different in that this one was not an idea of mine. It actually came about from a question that one subscriber, I hope they're a subscriber, who asked and said, how about I give you an idea for a video? How about you come up with a list of fragrances for the mature man, for the modern mature man? And I thought, yes, that's a very good idea, and I will do this list. And I did do this list and I recorded it. However, the audio didn't come out, so it was just 10 minutes of me doing this. Just like that. And it didn't work, so I had to redo it. And here I am redoing that list. Hopefully I'm doing it better because I've had a couple of goes at it already. I thought to myself, yes, I will compile a list. And then I thought, wait, hold on. This list is going to be endless because this is too easy. Because if I delve into something that is modern, something that is for a mature man, and also I think one of the things was something that is not sweet, because all these modern fragrances are really, really full of the sweetness. They really amped it up. And as you get more and more mature, you tend to gravitate to less and less sweeter scents, as I've found, and as has been the case for many, many generations, I imagine. Oh, actually, as it's proven, because, you know, I didn't really like any of the scents that I do like now. As a matter of fact, I didn't really like fougères very much growing up because I was more into the sweeter scents. But now I do appreciate, and like not now, but as in like in the last 10 years, and I'm showing my age here, I have come to appreciate the really bitter, the really herbal, the really sort of realistically mossy and piney and earthy and green kind of scents, and ones that are really devoid of sweetness. But then I said, hold on, even that's going to be very easy because there's a whole ton of those in the niche world. So I set myself a challenge, and the challenge was to come up with a list of modern, which means that it needs to be within the last 7 or so years. I thought 10 years, maybe a decade is too much because a decade ago, a lot of things were different. Maybe 7 years is okay because I think the last 2 years, not much has happened. And number 2, I thought, well, they can't really be niche because that would be too easy and the list would just be like hundreds of fragrances. So I'm going to stick with designers as well. No more than 7 years old, and therefore a mature man, which generally means they're not very sweet. That's a tough list, but I'm a tough guy. So here I am with a list of 9 plus 1, which makes another number. If you know maths, you will know. Designer fragrances for the modern mature man. Let's kick it off with the first one, which is this one right here. It is Eau d'Aromas by Armani. This gets overlooked. The original Eau pour Homme, Armani Eau pour Homme, that's the one that gets a lot of talk. Maybe Eau de Nuit gets a bit of talk. Eau d'Aromas or Eau d'Arôme, which like literally means water aroma or the smell of water. That's what it means. See, I speak French. I understand a little bit of it. The smell of water or the aroma of water. It is neither. It's not water. I mean, there's water in here. It's a very aromatic, it's a very herbal sort of affair, and it's really hard to describe this one. It does have quite a bit of herbs in here, but there's some element in here that gives you a vibe of suntan lotion, and it's not a summer fragrance by any means. I would wear this in autumn and in spring, but then again, you could wear this in any kind of weather except for the high heat probably, because it might get a little bit weird. I think that sort of herbal sort of vibe that it's got might make it a little weird. But yeah, this one, and I think this list I'm doing is going to be from oldest to newest, and I think this one is from 2014. So here I am with the first fragrance breaking my own rule, because this is over 7 years old. Because I love breaking my own rules. It's very liberating. From 2014, Armani's Eau d'Arôme. Check it out. And if you are wondering why I'm wearing things like this, it's because, you know, I want it to be in the mindset or the frame of mind of a mature person, and I'm pretty sure this is what mature people do. I hope so, because I'm just going by what I've seen, you know, because I just can't relate. So I hope that I'm being mature correctly. Let me know if I'm not. All right, from 2014, we move on to the class of 2015. And from 2015, we have something like this. This is Encre Noire à la Extrême. And I really adore this one. Now, out of the four Encre Noire fragrances, because people don't realize that there is an Encre Noire for women, which is not very good. I don't think Annick Minato had anything to do with that one, but she did have something to do with, no, it wasn't Annick Minato. It wasn't Annick Minato. Who was it? It was another lady. Oh, it'll come to me later. It was another lady. Oh, it's gonna kill me now. Never mind. Encre Noire à la Extrême, beautiful scent, not sweet at all, deep, dark, vetiver, smoke and resins and all that goodness. It's really for this kind of getup, and as a matter of fact, it's really for the depths of winter, I would say, and for someone who really wants to project that smoldering, very thoughtful, very conscientious and very present sort of personality, and wants to highlight that aspect of their personality. I would recommend this one right here. It is a very mature, it's actually quite modern, I would take. It's actually very modern. It smells very modern still, even though it's about 7 years old now. It still smells modern amongst the sea of sweet offerings from the designer world. So if you haven't checked this out, give this a try, because it's actually quite, it's a perennial favorite in all of the top 10 cheapies lists, and I'm not going to deny it. It's due, because it's actually worth way more than what you pay for it. Encre Noire à la Extrême by Lalique. The next one on this list is from Azara, and it is Azara Parfum Intense. It's also from 2015, so it's also 7 years old. And this one, it's got a little bit of a Coca-Cola-ish kind of vibe with the cinnamon that's in here as well. But I think I kind of described this as, what did I describe this as? I described this as somebody toasting cinnamon quills in an open fireplace in the corner of an open space somewhere, something like that. And I think it's a very classy scent. And it's a kind of like almost like a playful scent at the same time. So it's mature, but it's mature with a little bit of a playful attitude, because it does have that cinnamon, gives it sort of this organic sort of cola vibe. And it does have that cola nutty kind of flavor to it. If you're looking for something designer, something that is not sweet, something that actually projects and lasts for quite a long time, and it actually smells like it's not a designer scent. And I think a lot of these kind of smell like they're not a designer scent, which was the point of this list anyway. And so there we have Azara Parfum Intense. From one 2015 alumni to another, and this one is another one that I picked up in my birthday haul almost 1 year ago, very close to almost 1 year ago. Hint, hint, if you don't know what I mean, I won't be very specific anymore, but it is this one here. It is called Royal Oud by Colognes. Royal Oud from 2015. I like the bottle. I do. I like the name. I like the presentation. This cap is like so light and so plasticky. It doesn't even stay on very well, and I don't trust it being held by the cap. And I was wearing this today on this arm, and it's a rose oud. That's basically what it is. But it is higher quality than what you pay for it. It isn't very sweet. The rose kind of starts off a little bit jammy, but then it goes away, and it's got a little bit of spice in it, and it aerates out. Now, in the late mids and into the dry down is when this really gets good, because that's when the rose takes a back seat and the oud starts to come out. And the oud that comes out, it's a very clean, very woody, a very fruity almost kind of oud. And it's synthetic oud. 100 million% it's synthetic oud, but the way that they've treated it in this fragrance is reminiscent of a very clean version of the wood itself, and not the skanky barnyardy, sort of fecal, blue cheesy kind of oud that's in some of the really natural sort of oud scents that are out there. In the dry down, and it does last, it does project quite well in the first couple of hours as well. This is when, and in the dry down is when the magic actually happens for this fragrance. And I recommend this to a modern man who wears a carnation in their suit pocket instead of a wireless microphone. Korloff Royal Oud. Now here's one out of left field because it's a fragrance that I don't think I've ever talked about once. I think I've actually mentioned it once in the initial unboxing and first impression, and I do wear it from time to time, and I did wear it last night just in preparation for this video, just to remind me of how it acts and behaves and how it's actually matured over the course of time after I've opened it. And it was actually quite surprising that it was very good, and I think it's actually become a little bit better than when I initially opened it. And it's this one right here. This is Dunhill's Icon Elite, or Elite? Yeah, it's Elite, and it's from 2016. I had to remind myself here, okay? So I'm not an encyclopedia of fragrance, not yet. Dunhill Icon Elite, and from 2016. Gorgeous bottle. The Elite lineup, if you just want to buy them for their bottles, I won't blame you, because the bottles are just so good. So good. The presentation is fantastic on these, but they haven't actually skimped out on the scent either. And the main thing that's in here that kind of sets it apart is this ebony wood, or this teak, or this ebony wood that's in here. And the wood itself gives you kind of like a milky or a lactonic sort of vibe. There's no milk note in here, but the wood itself mixed with the other fragrance notes gives you like a creamy woods kind of vibe. And I think it's actually a bit more sweeter than the other fragrances that have come before it, but it's actually not sweet at all in comparison to the rest of the really sweet fragrances that are out there. Really great, really great fragrance. The quality is designer quality. It's really not an expensive fragrance. I wouldn't even class it as like a mid-tier. It is a cheapie. As a matter of fact, I think this 50 ml bottle cost like 30 bucks, 35 bucks that I picked it up for. It would be a weapon, as a matter of fact. Or like a massager. Look at this. Look at the little pattern that you've got there. Really like this. Anyway, the fragrance is pretty good too, so I'd recommend this for a mature man who's seeking out designer scents that are for a mature man who are not sweet and blah blah blah, all the rest of them, and quite modern. There you go. So we're getting to about halfway on our list, and I can't really get anywhere further than without mentioning this one right here as we move to the year 2017, and we're getting more and more modern here. This is kind of fake modern, as a matter of fact, because it's this one right here. This is Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum, and it's the 2017 version. Now, you might be saying, hold on. This came out in 2012. Yes, it did, but the reformulation was quite drastic to my nose, because the 2012 formulation of this, the original, which people love as a matter of fact, is a lot more darker, a lot more deeper, and a lot more resinous. Now, they did something with this 2017 version, and they replaced, I think, the myrrh that was in the 2012 with LME, and they put the LME forward. And I like LME. LME is a very special resin. It's kind of like it's got the resinous qualities of a resin, but it's also got the top note sort of effervescent qualities of ginger, and it gives a bit of a lemony vibe as well. And it suits this fragrance very well. It suits the name of this fragrance very well. And I, for one, think that this is a much easier wear than the 2012 edition. That's why it's in here, and it's a bit more modern than the 2012 version, and that's why it's in here, because it's its own thing. The 2017 is probably like the, let's see, if the 2012 was the brooding sort of, it's like they're like twin brothers, right? The 2012 is like the brooding version, sits in the corner in the dark and sips his tea and sort of has one side of his face in the shadow, and You know what I mean? It's just thinking and looking at staring at a blank space on the wall. Whereas this one, he's wearing a suit. He's wearing this Armani jacket. He's wearing this Dolce Gabbana shirt, and then he's out. He's out and about. He's being a boss. That's what he's being. That's Eau Sauvage Parfum. And if you don't have this as a modern, mature man in your collection of fragrances, what the bloody hell are you waiting for? This one is a must-have. It is that good. Get it. Or at least try it out, because it's available usually in department stores that you can test out. So at least go and try it out. Or maybe they've discontinued this. I'm not quite sure, but you could still probably find it very easily, the 2017 version that is. So at least go and check this one out. Okay, so we moved from 2017 to 2018 and we're getting more and more modern. Here we go. And this one was a release that I don't know, I just went and I saw it and I went, you know what, that's a really good deal. I'm gonna pick that up. And I did, and I'm so glad that I did. It was my favorite pickup of last year. Out of all the pickups that I did last year, it was my favorite. And you can tell because here it is. This is Cartier's Déclaration Parfum, and I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know it annoys some people if you don't pronounce it correctly. I know it annoys people when you do pronounce it correctly, but it's in French. It's Déclaration. It's not declaration. It's Cartier. It's not Cartier. Wait, Cartier? Never mind. But this fragrance is I guess another take on the original Eau de Toilette, which came out in 2009. Oh, it came out maybe like 20 years before, so 1998. This came out 2018, and I think it's better than the Eau de Toilette. I really do. I think the Parfum concentration really does well for the elegance of the fragrance, for the maturity of the fragrance, and more importantly, whereas the Eau de Toilette really pushes that cumin seed, that caraway, which a lot of people associate with, you know, curry and BO and that kind of thing. That's forward in the Eau de Toilette, and the cardamom is a supporting note in the Eau de Toilette. What the Parfum does, apart from increase the concentration of perfume oils and therefore give it less of that perfumer's alcohol when you spray it on, is that it pushes the caraway or the cumin in the background as a supporting player to this dusty, smoky, dry cardamom, which is so elegant and so classy. It lasts for a long time. It actually projects quite well at the beginning, even for a Parfum, but it's really something special. I mean, it doesn't last as long as what I think a Parfum should last as long. I mean, there should be better fixatives in here, and I think, you know, given the price, it's actually quite cheap for a Parfum, and I think that it could be done better. They could really push the price up and give it better ingredients and maybe better quality fixatives so that it does hang around longer on your skin, or even up the concentration of the fragrance oils in here, which I can't really tell how much there is. But again, this for the modern, mature, sophisticated man is really a no-brainer, because this is something that's super classy and super elegant, and I would recommend it all day long. I told you it was my pickup of 2021, so very, very much like this. You see, I've used up a fair bit of it already. So there you go, Cartier Déclaration Parfum. And another one from 2018 is this one. It's Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Longtemps. I'm saying that correctly. I know I'm saying that correctly. Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Longtemps. That's right. It's not intense. Le Homme Ideal. Le Homme Ideal L'Intense by Guerlain. Fucking Aussies. All right, this one, beautiful, chili note, smoke, cherry, almond. It's all class, and I think it's better than the original Eau de Parfum, the original Eau de Toilette. It's even better than the Cologne and the Cool and the Sport. It is probably the best flanker in the entire L'Homme Idéal lineup. And I'm saying this as a mature man who's modern and who doesn't want to smell very sweet. There is a bit of a sweetness in here from the cherry but it is not a syrupy cherry sweetness. If you think about more of a sour, maybe even a marinello cherry, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a pickled sort of cherry, or even maybe like an umeboshi, if you know what that is, kind of vibe to it as well. It's got that little bit of that pickled, it's not really like a dill pickle or anything like that. I'm saying it's got that vibe. It's not a straightforward sweet cherry. Great quality in here as well. If you can find it, get it, because I think this has been discontinued, and it did used to come in bottles like this. In 2018 when it was released, it was full black, and then it went to like the clear bottle with the sticker to be aligned with the rest of the L'Homme Ideal lineup, and then it went away forever. So if you can find it, try it out and get it. It's actually got pretty good lasting power, and it dries down to something that is not generic at all, because you can really get that chili pepper and that smoke that sort of just hang around for quite a while. And I think it's really cool. Check it out. And the second last one in this list is also from 2018, and it is this one right here. This is Dunhill's Century. Now, this came out, when this came out, it was the one that came out after Dunhill Icon and things like that. And that was very popular because of the pepper and the neroli, and people think that neroli is like a very, I don't know, an exotic scent, but it isn't to me. This came out, and I thought, this is very nice. It's so super nice. And I love the bottle. It's very unique. It's even got a magnetized cap, and the quality of it is great. The Dunhill bottles are quality. The juices, quality. Not like your super high-end niche quality. Again, this was like 30 bucks for this bottle of like something mils. 75 mils for like 30 bucks. Can't go wrong. Very classy. What do I get with this? Jasmine tea. Even though there's no jasmine tea in here, but there is a green sort of jasmine-y kind of tea that's going on in here, and that's what I get. It's dry, it's not sweet, it's classy, it's elegant, it's kind of bitter as well as what tea is. It's got that sort of astringency that sort of that tea has. And so I recommend it, and it's the second last one on this list, and I recommend it for a mature modern man who doesn't want to smell sweet, but doesn't want to pay like $1,000 for a niche bottle of fragrance. This smells quite niche. No one will mistake this for a designer. They just won't. And even though the projection on this and the lasting power isn't all that great, you can just keep some in a decanter, or even just keep this bottle around with you and just spray it on to refresh yourself. So there you go, Dunhill Century. And finally we get to the last one, and the last one is from the class of 2020, so it's actually quite recent, and generally I don't follow the hype, but I did follow the hype on this one because the hype was so big and the notes sounded ridiculously intriguing, so I had to get myself a bottle of this, and I did. And when I did, I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I just thought, why is everybody hyping this up for? I don't understand. But they were hyping it up. It's this one right here. This is another Cartier, and it's another Parfum. So there's two Parfums by Cartier in this list that have made the list, and this is Cartier's Pasha de Parfum. Another Parfum version of a very older Cartier fragrance, which I think came out in like the 80s or the 90s, I can't remember exactly. God damn, that is good. All right, when I first smelled it, it wasn't that great, and I sort of wore it a little bit, and I sort of, drained a little bit of it so that I could let some air into the bottle, because I know that a heavy fragrance like this, especially in a Parfum concentration, needs some time to develop in the bottle after you let air into the bottle. Maceration, that's what we call it generally. Now, after I came back to it, maybe about 7 or 8 months later, when the weather had sort of become cooler again, and tried it out again, and absolutely opened up on me. And of course, because it's a Parfum, you need to spray it from a distance. You can't really give yourself a concentrated spray like this, with a Parfum because of the concentration. You need to give it a spray from a distance so that you can have the Parfum open up. That smells so good. I would definitely recommend this. It's the most modern. It's the one that I would recommend. It's not that sweet, but it's really not that dry, it's not that bitter either, and it's got the best of everything, especially the quality. And it's readily available. You're going to be able to find this in most places anyway. You can even pick it up online for a very good price. So there you go. There's my 10. I'll put this away. There's my list of 10. No, there's my list of 9 plus 1, which makes another number. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you can put maybe some more sort of recommendations that you might have of modern fragrances that aren't sweet, that are designer as well, then please do so in the comments. Thanks for watching.
You.